Welcome to the Wealth Ninja podcast. Wow, in studio we got a Steve and a Steve.
Howdy. Yeah.
You guys not twins, are you?
No.
No.
How to get two Steve in one room? I never had this one before. I don't know if I have two Sarah in one room, but I got two Steve in one room.
Yep.
Well, firstly, Steven Todd, thank you for coming today, and Steve Stark, thank you for coming today too. I see you every other day, but thanks for coming today. I know it's in Ponsonby, traffic's a bit busy right now. It's 10 past 4. Firstly, Steve, what do you do for a living?
I'm an operations manager for a small goods company called Hellers.
Okay.
So
Is that the baking company that we see in the supermarket?
that's the one. So we make plenty of sausages.
Okay. And how long you been there?
I've been there 13 years.
13 years. Wow. Do you still eat bacon?
I do.
Good on you.
Yeah. Can't you tell?
Yeah. So what do you see the change in bacon 13 years ago to today? Like you get the smoked bacon, honey cured bacon. Compared to 13 years, you just get bacon.
Bacon. Yeah, there's lots of different types of bacon. Years ago, it took a long time to cure bacon and get it ready to market. Now we can do it in a matter of weeks. So
Right.
time frame is certainly a lot shorter than it used to be.
And they now got fat-free bacons, so lean that I can't stand those lean bacon. I like the one with the fat in it. But now you go to the supermarket, how do you cater for so many bacon for varieties compared to before?
Yeah, I guess it's market driven. So people come in, want to buy it, you supply it. So it's all
So it's more healthy choice now.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sausages are heading that way too.
So I'm from Vietnam, and in Vietnam they got the soup called pho. They make this rice noodle soup, and they put stocks in it and all the fat and the trimmings, and it's so fattening. But I saw a documentary lately, and they said Saigon pho has changed. What they mean is they got to skim it, they got to make it fat free, and they're saying if that's the trend, that's where we're going, then that's the way it is.
I mean, Hellers used to be in Mount Wellington, didn't they? They had a sausage plant there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Saki, I saw you at breakfast yesterday. Why do you order 100 gram of bacon exactly?
Well, I'm on a diet of Hellers bacon, I must say. Really, really cutting down everything except the bare bones of proteins. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long have you guys been knowing each other?
We've been working 7 years.
7 years, yeah.
Okay. So tell us about your investing history.
So prior to getting involved in the investment property, we're talking sort of 10 years ago, I was new to the Auckland market.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about Auckland investing. I knew I wanted to do something, but I didn't quite know what. So I went along to Steve Financial Advising Advice.
Right.
He sort of set me on the right path. We talked about investing in property, and that sort of got me on underway. So from there, having just my family home, to several investment properties now.
Okay. And how was that for you, Steve, when you met Steve for the first time?
Well, it was really good, and I'll let Steve mention the dynamics of the different investing thinking from the partners, but in a way it was kind of easy because they were in a clean situation where they just had the one property. It was wasn't masses of debt, there wasn't any major issues, so I could start clean and run everything, if you like, to the playbook all the way through, and that's actually exactly what we did over the years, was take them from the zero in property investing all the way to the absolute goal, which was fantastic and very rewarding.
Right.
For me, because it's nice actually to just sometimes be able to go and run your place,
And how does it feel for you, Steve, when you have a family home, you've got a great job, 3 kids, and sort of like you're in that perfect position, and next minute you're taking on several more properties and add on debt. How was that mindset change?
Yeah, so I grew up thinking I needed to save money,
Right.
and I needed to work for my money rather than make my money work for me. So it took me in my inner self to change my thinking to get that value out. Go, hey, no, I need to make the money work for me. So it was a good mindset change for me.
And when you bought your first property, how long before you bought your second one?
Oh, it wasn't that long. It was probably 6 months.
Right.
within a year
Wow.
of doing
Okay.
that. So
for
we did
one house or 3 houses in space of 12 months.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was Steve's role to make you make that decision?
I guess at the beginning, Steve's role was to sort of understand my financial position, and my appetite for risk, to take on debt, what sort of investing we wanted to go into.
Yeah.
Once he understood all that, and we decided to go down the residential property market. From there, I went into the coaching school and learnt of all the basics, and I guess you're with a group of like-minded people.
Yes.
That had the same sort of questions I did, and from there I got the confidence to actually make the first step.
Okay.
So going from there, I had to drag my partner and I. We both had different views on investing, and she wasn't keen, and I was quite keen. So I had to.
That always seems to be the most difficult part. Once your partner is not supporting, but you able to convince a partner into it, then things will be a lot easier. How do you overcome that?
Yeah, I think, to be fair, on the first property we bought, I guess I had to take a long kicking and screaming and really holding her hand, even to the fact when we signed it over, she wasn't 100% sure.
Yes.
But very quickly after that, once we'd done the first one, and definitely by the second one, she was really keen and she wanted to go for it. And so, yeah, she's converted.
Oh, great. So, having made that decision 7 years ago and comparing your investment level to now, would you say that you made the best decision by firstly meeting Steve, getting some advice from him, making those decisions?
Yeah, no, definitely. And what I've learned along the way with this process is if we're surrounding ourselves by the experts who know them, you've got to have faith in those experts and their experience in their fields. And if I wasn't at that time, they gave me a lot of confidence that even when I bought the first property, I was nervous, but soon realised, hey, look, exactly how we planned it out. We stuck to that plan and it worked. And
having Steve, I work with Steve every day. He firstly overanalyzes everything, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He triple checks. This is called a double check. This guy triple checks.
Yeah.
So he triple checks before you say yes.
He's very conservative.
Yeah.
And the investments that we've done, I think, have probably performed better than what he was predicting in the model.
Well, there you go. Then so. How does that now look for you going into the future? You have kids, family, have investment portfolio going forward. Does that put you in a better place now going forward into the future?
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, if we hadn't have met Steve and gone through that process, we would have probably had our home plus one investment property maybe.
Right. So if you have to say today, let's just say if you didn't act then, you choose to say meet Steve today, and you have to buy the same property today. You possibly couldn't buy the same property with today's value, could you?
That's right.
You can't.
No.
You can buy one, maybe two, or whatever. But buying at today's value is like backtracking. You can't do it, can you?
No. If I was in the same position now, what I know now, I would have tripled what I did way back then.
So there you go.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we do at Wealth Ninja. We have learned the techniques through our coaches. We able to fast track people going forward.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you said that. So Steve, we go from here.
Well, always people should consider taking sound independent financial advice, not least because there's emotion not involved in somebody analysing a position. So at that time I was a financial advisor, not now, just to clarify that. So that said though, if you don't get into the market at some point in time and use this financial instrument, whatever it is, then you're never going to go forward. So you still have to buy, even though, a rundown 3-bedroom house right now in Remuera might be $1 million for sake of argument. If you don't buy it, you can't own the growth. So you still have to make those decisions. But then you have to say, well, relative to your own keenness, I suppose, to get involved in how quick you want to do it, then you can dial that dice a little bit. And as you know, we have a huge amount of options available to people. Actually would make my job a lot easier if I was starting again with these guys. Because there's so many things you can get into from a low money down point of view with low deposits that are new. And you haven't got some of the other issues which are coming up. Probably the worst thing about starting now in old 3-bedroom houses is the huge change coming from the government all the time. And in fact, you could only term it active discouragement. So that would have made it a lot tougher, and I have to deal with, as a coach, is a lot more possible negative consequences. So if I can balance it up by saying some of it will do here, some of it will do there, some of it will do there, we can make the whole thing work easier.
So Steve, having said what you learned from Steve, would you now be able to teach your children what to do?
We're certainly giving them guidance now. We're trying to get them into it. Yeah, they're probably just a little bit young at the moment.
Yes.
But certainly,
they're going to learn the habit. They're going to learn the techniques.
Yep, and we've set our structures up. So in times when
structure, there you go, keyword.
And so when it's time for them to invest, we know how to safeguard that money for our own children.
Yes.
So we'll set up.
So that's the whole thing about wealth ninjas. We want to break the cycle, meaning like parents do it, teach the children, and then their future children. So not only that you both now are successful, your children can learn off you, their future children can learn off you, then that means as the coaches we would have been so satisfied, aren't we? We've done our job. I call it, our role was like the bodyguard of wealth. When we finish guarding you, you can stand on your own feet, you become a black belt, we move on, and then we revisit you again a few years, we might learn a few techniques, we pass on to you again. So it's forever investing model changes.
Yeah.
Actually, just out of curiosity, would you say that because of the steps that you've taken and so on, are there people that you don't work, that you're not spending time with anymore because your situation has changed? You know what I mean? How your circle of context changes as your position in life does a little bit. Has that been interesting, or
just clarify that again? So is there people that I'm not dealing with now?
So just because of who you were then when you started,
yes,
and knowing what you know now and what you've got now, has it changed the types of the circle of people you work with?
In terms of property investing, definitely. In terms of family and friends, no, that doesn't change. But in terms of property investing, I definitely would always, the confidence that I've got from the people that I learnt that I was dealing with, definitely would go and look them up and ask for advice. Right. So it would be a lot more.
So let me ask you this question. I know nothing about bacon, so I'm going to do this as a test case. Okay, so
they do what they do to other food, by the way.
I know. So I want to ask you about bacon because you're the expert in bacon, right? I'm the expert in property.
I'm the expert in sausages. So I plant sausages.
Okay, so how many sausages do you guys make a day?
So in terms of sausages, we're making 50 tonne of sausages a day.
Jeez, how many sausages is that?
Millions.
I haven't worked that out.
So you got chicken sausage, pork, beef?
Lamb.
Yeah. You got vegetarian ones?
No.
Okay. And then where does your product go throughout the country?
So we're distributing to all the major supermarkets in the North Island, so right down from Wellington to the top of Kaitaia.
Okay.
And a multiple of other businesses in between us, but the supermarkets be our main.
So why do you make those, what's those red sausages called that got a red wrap around them, the little ones?
Cocktails.
Yeah. Why are those cocktail sausages so popular around kids in particular?
Oh, because they can dip them in sauce.
Right, so you put it in a pot, warm it up.
Yeah, that's easy.
Are they ready to eat straight out of the packet, or you have to cook it?
No, ready to eat.
Ready to eat, so it's okay. See, being Asian, we don't eat anything straight out of the packet. We have to warm it up. Yeah. Okay, that's why we warm it up. But I see other kids just eat it out of the packet.
Yeah.
Okay, now we'll move to bacon. Like how many types of bacons are there?
Oh, look, I've got no idea. There's no.
So you got the bacon rash.
You got streaky,
right?
Mid-eye.
Name me 6 flavour of bacon that you make.
I don't make the bacon. Yeah. We sell it. So it's streaky.
Yeah.
Smoked bacon.
Honey.
Yeah, honey cured.
And then what about the one without the skin on it? What do you call that one? Just meat.
It's fat-free bacon. Supposed to be, yeah.
So you can tell me order that 50 tonnes of sausage a day, and you've got how many tonnes of bacon?
I don't know the number of bacons.
Okay.
Yeah, not sure because I don't make the bacon. I make the sausages.
So you make the sausages then. Yeah. Okay. So you got an idea how many million of those red sausages we eat a year? Must be millions, eh? Yeah. See, when it comes to sausages, you knew everything about it, right?
Yeah.
Why I ask you those questions is when it comes to properties, Well, you got to go to the expert, don't you?
Yeah.
You can't just go out there and say, oh, wow, I won a lotto for 10 million, I'm going to buy 20 properties today. Well, that's the wrong style to do it. You got to go to the guy that does it, give you the advice, put the structure in the right place. Yep. Otherwise, you could buy the wrong property, couldn't you?
Yeah, well, I was looking at property. The property model that we were looking at was putting minor dwellings on the back of a larger section.
Yeah.
I had no idea whether I was allowed to, whether water care would let you do it, planning rules around all those sort of things. So we had to rely on these other people giving us that advice.
See, what you mentioned, exactly that water care and planning, if you can do it. Like, if you mention that straight away to a first-time investor, you bought this property, you got to go to water care, you got to get planning, you got to go to an architect, resource consent. Well, forget it. Yeah. It stops right there. That client will just forget it. I'm not doing it. But when you go to the couch, it give you the right people to connect with. Give you what do you do in that process, Steve, when that happens?
In that particular situation, the first thing is I would either speak to a town planner or to somebody very, very familiar with that area and with the restrictions. Talk to the civil authorities such as water care or whatever to work out what the restrictions are, whether or not there was an angle to it, and be very, very careful about what we're doing so that we knew with 100% degree of confidence if their position was A or B.
Right.
And then we just financially model the outcome on the property around those particular costs and restrictions.
And when that happens, say for example the property comes along, you can build a minor dwelling at the back. First you talk about the rental return yield and also the capital gain once it's finished.
Yeah. It's one of those things where my belief is anyway that if you own more roofline with more rental income on it, and it's a separate unit, then the size of the instrument's bigger, right?
Yes.
But the cost of doing it and owning that particular roofline is still cheaper than owning two rooflines on two different properties.
Yes.
So, in other words, another way of thinking is maximise the value of the income off the one piece of land.
Well, I think in my days, the minor dwelling, I built 20 of them, and it was in the early 90s. That was only like 50,000 to build one. Yeah. But today, at least 120, 150 to get one because you need resource consent, contribution. But still, having an extra minor dwelling, a 2 or 3 bedroom for 150,000. Where can you buy that from in Auckland or anywhere?
No, you can't.
No, the unitary plans, really ripped up all of the old rules a little bit. But the fundamental thing is, if your property only allows so many income streams on it, then you have to approach it with a pretty cold, calculated decision-making matrix.
Yeah. And Steve, you still continue investing now? You're still looking for the deals, and when it comes?
We've slowed down now because we've sort of maxed our income and our debt ratio.
Okay.
But if the opportunity comes along, I'll be into it next week.
But since you know Steve for 7 years, you would have now got a great portfolio, great rental incomes, and you've got your sort of like your goals are set in place now. You felt like you have achieved it, or you felt like you still got a bit more to go, or you're happy now?
And initial plans are all we've achieved all those.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that's the end of it. So as soon as we can free some debt up, I'll be back into it again.
So say 10 years time when it's all double again, what are you going to do?
Yeah, retire.
Oh, well, great. Yeah.
Retire. Cool. Do I have to wait that long?
Yeah. Well, it's. I have a bit of a philosophy of you shouldn't regard property as something that once you buy it, you have to own for 300 years.
Right.
It's an instrument, and you should feel free to move it if you need to, or if it makes better sense to say, I don't know, someone comes along and says, I've got to get out of this commercial factory tomorrow because otherwise I'm going to get rolled. Give me $100,000 for it. If you have to sell another asset to take that, well, sometimes it's a good idea.
Yes.
But you've just got to go through the numbers.
And sometimes for example, myself, I got a commercial block, and that tenant is got a 12 years lease, and I can build this 80 apartment on it, but I can't wait for 12 years. And he's not moving. Yeah. He's saying like, no, I'm not moving. This is my life. I'm staying here. So I said, well, either buy the property off me, I can't wait for 12 years because I lost the opportunity when I can buy another block. I can build this apartment in 3 years. Yeah. So that's a perfect example. You got to be able to get rid of this asset. It will take 12 years for the lease to expire, or you sell it
and get another one.
Get another one, and then do it in 3 years. So these are decisions that we have to make as we go along.
Yeah, and the rules change, and the governments, might make things tougher in certain things and easier in others. So, you can't predict that. We were all obviously a little bit concerned about capital growth loss when the government was talking about a capital gains tax.
That's I'll show you guys about that decision. Sorry to interrupt there, but for that decision they made to get rid of the property that 12 years lease, which is this building here right now, this apartment building, is what allowed me to do. So I got rid of the asset, buy a new one, and this here is a 85 apartment tower that's going to be worth 42 million when it's finished, and that's going to be in 3 years' time.
Wow.
So that is the decision of being able to drop, move on, and then go to a higher tower. So that's I'm not telling you to do it. I'm doing it first, and then you see why I do it. And that's how it is.
Yeah. It's important to be flexible, but stick to a larger plan.
Yeah. So, Steve, finally, how important is it to have professional advisor, coaches, people with knowledge around you to help you with your investment?
I think it's like what you said at the beginning. All the hoops that you have to jump through at the start, I would have run a mile, but we had professional people leading us through that process, giving us the confidence to go through that process. We started off in the process, and once we started, we're away. So I think it's very important. It's vital that you get that help. Great. You can't do it on your own.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Steve?
Yeah, these guys have been they've made it really easy to work with and get to the end goal for them. I think I would stress to anybody watching that these are people just like you in the best possible way, who want to get ahead in life, and they knew they needed to look at something. They chose to look in the particular door of property investment, and they've made an absolute fist of it. And anybody can, but without some help, you really are making it hard for yourself.
Yeah.
And I was a novice, and I came from outside of Auckland. So it was vital I got that advice.
Well, firstly, that's a good thing you come out of Auckland and you need that advice, but it makes it even worse when more people live in Auckland and they don't know what to do, and they still don't do it. And you the guy from the outside, came in, took that advice, fast track, past the guy that already live in Auckland and still thinking about it.
That's true.
So you fast track by making a decision. Well, next time I'm going to the supermarket, I'm going to look for the Heller brand, and I'm going to be thinking of you.
Just don't need too many.
So thanks for coming in.
Hey, thanks very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Good on you. Well,